Back again with another video. Today's video is going to be about a deity which I've actually spoken about in the past many times. But, someone requested me to make a video. Basically, some new information, outside of the old video, because they got, they pretty much watched the old video. So, definitely want to basically recap on that. Well, as far as Met Kafu is concerned, well, I gotta explain the name in the correct pronunciation, because you have a lot of people, who say KAFOU whatsoever, and when just being Haitian myself and speaking the language and being able to write the language, I want to say that is very faulty. No one that is of Haitian descent says KAFOU with an L. It's KAFOU or KAFOU. So just give me a little correct pronunciation of how you would basically say it. KAFOU. So KAFOU. So that's the correct way of pronouncing it in Haitian Creole. Now, when the meaning of KAFOU basically means crossroads or intersection whatsoever. So that's what KAFOU actually means. So when you talk about Met, Met is basically the owner. So when you say Met Kafu, that means owner of the crossroads. Now, Met Kafu, they would say Met Kafu, if that's the owner of the crossroads, then what about Legba? He's the owner of the crossroads or such, Well, let's just say this. Legba, when we're talking about this crossroad thing, many people say that Legba is only a spirit that opens doors. Well, in Haiti, some people say Legba, and stuff like that, But in reality, I didn't say in reality, let's just say from different people around the world itself. I mean, let's move out of Haitian Vodou. Basically, when you come to America, people associate Legba with their experience with being in charge of the crossroads as well, But as I said in a previous video, he is only responsible for the opening the doors to the positive, So when you talk about Rada, Legba, he opens the way for the Rada Loa or the benevolent Loa, So when you talk about Met Kafu, he opens the door to the, Legba is like benevolent. Sorry, excuse me. Legba opens the door to the benevolent spirits, which is basically falls into the category of Rada, where Met Kafu, he is the exact opposite, where he is responsible for allowing the more aggressive or malevolent spirits, to come through. But most of the time, you could basically say that Kafu keeps the door closed, And if you're working with him, he keeps the door closed because he keeps all those demonic spirits in their place, So now, for the person who's saying Kafu is just a crossroads, let me just say this. That's just for people that just, a lot of people, they just stick traditional and they never evolve and they never basically go into spirit, or they're not on a great spiritual level, because you got to separate the religious practitioner from the spiritual practitioner of voodoo. The religious practitioner of voodoo, they just do what they're told. They follow a bunch of things that they heard from their Unga, Mombo, or they purchase little books on the internet or off the internet, and that is voodoo for them. Now you have the more evolved, which I like to call true asogwe. This is the voodooism that is spiritual. This one here communes with the spirit. The spirit speaks to that person in their dreams, or basically communes with them in waking state of consciousness. Now, many people have associated Kafu with only the crossroads, and that is limiting the spirit. So when you look at it, it's like a backward scenario with Legba and Kafu. Kafu is only associated with the crossroads. which is basically an error because he basically is responsible for doors. So this is where you get the fuckery of this law called Legba no Petro. I think that is the most stupidest machination that someone has ever came up with. You know, somebody says, "Oh, Met Kafu is not such and such. He's not Legba in the Petro version. He is, you know, that is the Legba Petro version is Legba Petro or Legba non Petro." For as far as I'm concerned, if you understand the science behind words of power, you would know that the person who found that aspect put words together because they were too ignorant to tap in to the essence of Met Kafu to find out what he's truly capable of. Most people are afraid to work with Kafu. Now that we are talking about Kafu, I might as well bring in this association with Kafu being the devil, Satan whatsoever. Now, I work with Marinette. A female friend of mine works with Anima Sola. The thing about that is that these are hosts to tap into the essence of the spirit. Now, why do I say this? I say this because it is the same thing with Satan and Kafu. Satan, when you understand that aspect, it is a spirit that is associated with the crossroads, you know, or the devil. It's a spirit that has been associated with the crossroads. So when you tap into the essence of Kafu, you begin to see that they have a commonality, you know, and when you start working with that energy, you start seeing things associated with the devil. That's why Eshu, which is a same essence of Kafu, you begin to see that they begin to have a synchronization in our world with things associated with the color red, and as well as things associated with basically opening doors, you know, especially when you're talking about opening doors to the realm of the malevolent spirits. You know, basically people who died in fucked up ways, they have to remain in certain parts of the spirit realm. So to say that a person who has killed a bunch of people, they can go into the higher realms, that is complete fuckery. So you have what you call la fin, en soi, or the purgatory, or you know, or you can say the hell region. This is where Met Kafu keeps a boundary on. Now, when you talk about Legba, you're talking about paradis. You're talking about the heavenly realm. So when you talk about all the positive stuff, he opens the door for all those positive spirits to come down. Your Ezeli Freda and all this other type of stuff. But when you talk about Met Kafu, he opens the way for Marinette. He opens the way for Ezeli Rouge, Si Jean Petro. You know what I'm saying? You know, Jabalo Bosu. You know what I'm saying? He opens the way for the Petro Loa. You know what I'm saying? So without Kafu, those laws cannot come through and manifest. And another thing about that is that without Kafu, you would have forces of chaos roaming the earth chaotically. So when you are talking about Satan, see, moving away from Bible, Satan's position in practical magic or practicality is to keep all evil spirits bounded up in the purgatory, or basically to keep malevolent forces bound up in the lowest astral plane. So moving away from Bible and what you read in a book, we're talking about practical magic, practical application of, you know, spirit beings itself, you know. Again, I want to talk about Legba now. When you're making a comparison, when you're talking about Kafu, is that Legba, he can open the gates and everything is great. But when you're working with Kafu, I want to say this: he is extremely powerful and can be very dangerous. He is a law that you cannot take lightly. He is a law which you have to serve with utmost respect and be very gentle and careful with. When you are dealing with him, you do not want the doors to be open, because opening the doors was only open the doors of evil spirits. You want to keep that closed. You don't want to ask, you do not want to have the doors open without it being for a specific purpose. You don't want those doors open, you know? Because it's stuff that you'll see. You'll begin to see earthbound spirits starting to manifest. You'll begin to see people's faces changing in broad daylight. You'll begin to see death and destruction all around you. People getting hurt physically, you know, violence. You'll begin to see all of those things. But you'll have some people that's going to comment on this video and say, I don't know what I'm talking about. I am just some charlatan, you know, who just comes about saying he's a voodooisan and this and that, he's a Bokor and all this other type of stuff. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But it is what it is. So for my viewers that find this video very informative, I thank you guys for watching. I would like to say like and subscribe, and I'm out, everyone.
See KAFOU, bye bye. See me.